Let me get this straight. You blew up a building.
2 CIs and the CEO of 22andU.
2 competing federal agencies with the same mission.
I don't understand why those Fed a-holes are so darn mean.
To protect the public from the scourge of dangerous misinformation.
You know those bum idiots. This is all them. We had a solid case.
The word entrapment, not even in their vocabulary.
The explosives we provided were fake.
Sworn to a duty to always tell the truth.
We have no indication at this time that this was a deliberate act.
We're all being transferred.
To where?
The only place currently with openings. Alaska.
Good morning.
Welcome to the office, huh?
And we got the retro feel. You know, the funny about federal buildings, they're all different, but they're still somehow all the same.
Oh, good morning, Agent Walker. At the coffee station. We actually drew straws before he got here, and I won, so we get to work together.
Let's get started. Let's see if we can't stir something up.
Let's give it a minute. I like to warm up my truth muscles, a little coffee beforehand.
Well, what do you want to do first?
What do we have for a surveillance van?
Oh, wow. I got a Ford Explorer. We don't have a surveillance van.
Do you put many cases here?
Cases?
Yeah, cases. We're the tip of the spear when it comes to protecting American democracy.
You really believe this? You really believe that people posting crap online is going to cause our country to crumble?
I think the work that we do is important.
We don't have a surveillance van.
Me and some people got one. We've never needed one.
We need a surveillance van. We need a big case or a CI who can lead us to a big case.
What do you need the van for?
Surveillance.
CIs, or confidential informants, are the lifeblood of any good law enforcement agency. Public posts on social media are one of the best ways to find CIs. Agents would never use coercion or take things out of context to try and persuade someone to become a confidential informant.
New Taylor Swift single is absolute fire. I'm just seeing a lot of incendiary and violent language here.
Agents always need to be on their toes and ready to make snap decisions.
Is there anything I can do for you guys?
Actually, David, there is something you can do for us.
Chicky nuggies.
Chicky nuggies.
What?
Cheeseburger.
Cheeseburger. McDonald's cheeseburger.
Burger King.
Burger King cheeseburger.
Flame broiled.
And chicken nuggets.
Oh, baby, know you're gonna like it. I wanna be your beaver pilot. Said, honey, know you're gonna like it. I wanna be.
Awesome, right?
Is this a loner?
This thing's totally legit.
What is this? It's got windows!
And we are live.
Welcome back to the Well Furnished Podcast.
Hey. All right. The Well Furnished Podcast. Oh, that's right. That was part of your.
Yeah, it's Carmine's.
You had that gig for a while. Or Carmine did. The Well Furnished Podcast. Well, that was some funny shit, actually.
It was just cracked me up to see someone who's clicked on the video, and one of the first things I say, we've got a great 3-hour segment for you. Listen to this.
No doubt. Oh my goodness. So a couple notes. We're not having a show tomorrow night. There will be no Northland Friday night. The reason is behind Michael. We have probably our biggest, most complex and sign and our biggest, most complex film shoot for the entire show so far, which is Saturday at the airport. So in order to get ready for that, we are going to take our time tomorrow and do all the stuff we got to do, because we got to make badges. And I know we don't need no stinking badges, but we do because it's part of our permit, because we get a permit.
But we get to come up with our own badges.
Yes, we do.
So we have badges to look official and all, but we get to create them ourselves.
Yeah. So God only knows what we're going to create. Because
I'm just thinking the absurdity of badges, to look official and whatnot. And then whoever's going to check them, like, oh yeah, these look legit.
Yeah, right? No, exactly. And I got to look back at the permit and see what it actually says about the badges. But
you're going to need a watermark and a hologram decal.
Yeah, right. Exactly. They're going to be super official. But no, you just got to identify that you're part of the crew. And so we've actually got a permit to film at Ed Stevens International Airport.
At the airport of all places.
Yeah. And so the sign is to welcome the agent to Alaska's sign. I can't wait
for it
to...
Agent Walker's arriving to Anchorage.
Yep.
And my character's there to welcome him. And this is a prop. We were told to make a sign welcoming him. And my understanding was just the bigger, more garish, the better.
I
had this old projector screen.
In my brain when I wrote this, I was thinking Michael's standing there with
3x3
cardboard sign with welcome, and the thing, maybe it's got some glitter on it or something, but oh no. I walk in today and I see this thing and I'm like, that your sign? He's like, yeah. I'm like, well, let's do it. Let's go.
And for those of us that don't recognize who this high quality character is, this is Secret Squirrel.
Yes.
From a Hanna-Barbera cartoon in the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
And we figured it fits given that, Agent Walker's a federal agent. So
yes.
Originally, I had planned on Spy versus Spy. And on the other side of this, I got it just as huge. Spy versus Spy. One's got cherry bomb. The other one's got sticks of dynamite behind their back as they're shaking hands. And then I thought airport. I don't know if I can get away with bomb.
Oh, that's okay. I was wondering why. Yeah, no, maybe that's probably.
And now that it's on the back of this, I might actually have to find some way to deal with that.
Oh, yeah. No, you're right.
I got it. I got it figured out.
Okay. Already, look at you go.
Yeah.
Look at you using that brain. But yeah, Secret Squirrel right there.
Yeah.
Hanna-Barbera.
What an agent, what a squirrel. He's got the country in a whirl.
That trench coat would be handy.
Wow. Yeah, no doubt.
He's got tricks.
All right, Secret Squirrel. Secret Squirrel. That's pretty good.
Yeah, and if I could show it on the camera, see how much fun I had coloring it.
Oh, look at that! you went outside the line.
I smeared a little here and there.
Smeared a little bit on your hand.
Yeah. Well, which is funny because it's my right hand, and normally this would be my left, but I can't use my left.
Right.
So I got to pretend to be right-handed, but I still get the lefty inky pinky.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's funny.
Sometimes you just are who you are.
Yep. Sometimes it just happens. So, well, speaking of acting, I don't know did you hear this? That Gene Hackman passed away today?
I did. And so did his wife.
Yeah.
And she's like 30 years his senior. Or 30, he's 30 years her senior.
So, from what I'm hearing, and so, I mean, he's been in some serious movies and stuff. I mean, this guy's got.
Oh, yeah. I really liked him in Tombstone. Not Tombstone, Unforgiven.
Yes.
With Clint Eastwood.
Right. And he is the original. Well, not the original, but for movies, he's the original Lex Luthor.
Yes. And the greatest criminal mind of our century.
And that's like, that's my childhood there, man.
Mm-hmm.
So
Otisburg.
Yeah, right.
Miss Schumacher, she gets her own town. Never seen it.
Yep. Which role stands out? I'm going to click Lex Luthor. Oh, only 13%.
Little Bill, Unforgiven. He's number 2 right there.
Yep.
I guess he's technically number. Yeah.
Crimson Tide. That was a great movie too.
That was a terrible movie. Oh my god! I can't watch a Navy movie because I just I might curse to pick it apart.
Well, yeah, because it's nothing that you are
They had a fish tank in birthing.
A subject matter expert in something that you know intimately well is not going to be good entertainment for
like
you.
Like when they were listening to a boombox underway.
Okay.
In birthing on a sub. There's so much wrong with that. There's 2 things you just do not F with when it comes to a submariner: his food and his sleep.
Right. Oh.
So you are not playing any sort of music that anyone besides you can hear in birthing.
So you're not listening to a boombox while people are sleeping? Not
at all. And the lights aren't on either.
I got you. Okay.
And there's also no fish tank anywhere on the sub, especially birthing. But you see, a submarine, as it's deep, it's in the water, it banks its turns like an airplane.
Right.
You're not going to have an aquarium.
Okay. No, I got you. I got you.
The and water would run out. Dog, okay. It's like, okay, but no, that would never happen either. Dog's got to be shitting and pissing somewhere.
All right. Well, people like the movie. People
like
it was
okay,
the movie.
But yeah.
And it's entertainment. It's not supposed to be historically accurate.
Yeah. And I don't know. Okay, I know one dude in the Navy who is that proud about Alabama, and it's my buddy. He's a commander now in the Navy, but he's from Alabama.
Okay.
No one stationed on the USS Alabama gives a fucking rolling bagel about the state. I promise.
Oh man!
When I was on the Kitty Hawk, you think I cared about North Carolina? No.
Oh, exactly. Oh man. Well, as you know, everything keeps happening really, really fast around the world these days.
A missile drill in the middle of an actual fire. I'm sorry, I hate that movie.
Oh, okay.
I'm kidding, but I won't do that to you the whole show. And another thing.
Oh yeah, and another thing. I'm gonna call you what this kid's dad called her.
What?
He what?
Are you serious?
I do something similar. It's hilarious to me, but with Jody and Benji, and then sometimes when I'm camping, with like Zach and Chelsea, because they are Democrats.
Yes.
But we'd say like we're queuing up to go hike over there to the lake or whatever.
Right.
And I'm like, great, last one there's a dirty rotten Democrat. And then those are just confused, like, what do I do? Do I
wait? Do I go?
But I do that to Jody and Benji all the time too. We're going to the car to go somewhere. Last one in the car is a Democrat.
Oh my gosh. So we had the 5 things that you did last week. So
what an awesome idea.
Right? So this person's thought that
terrifying.
I updated my resume.
Having 5 things, having to send an email showing the 5 things is the same as being in North Korea.
Yeah,
it's
totally.
Farther in here.
Send this email or you're fired, like you lose your job. There's no rationale here that makes it make any sense outside of, look how much power I have and you better fucking listen or your livelihood is gone. The 2 million people that are going to have to respond to this email, if they choose to, are they going to go through 2 million emails to make sure that they were honest, to make sure that they were authentic, to make
It's not for that.
And weren't you supposed to forward this to your supervisor?
Yes.
That we received as FedEx were making you aware. And the feeling that I felt responding to that email was such a glimpse into a possible future here, a probable future here if we don't fucking do something about it.
What
so
do you have
scary
to do?
and so heartbreaking. It felt much like I would imagine living in a place like what I always imagined North Korea to be like, would be like.
You have not been paying attention.
People in North Korea.
You haven't watched one documentary on that country.
Die because they don't get enough food. Like neighbors talk about their neighbors dying.
They risk running through a minefield to escape the place. Literal landmines that they don't know where they're buried. They're just risking it.
Right. I mean, we've reached such a level of absurdity in this crap.
The hyperbole is just ridiculous.
Oh God! It's off.
But they're passing it off like it's gospel.
Mm-hmm. No, exactly.
And you would think that everyone, it's in a Clash song, the Clampdown, and one of the lyrics are, "You'll grow up and you'll calm down. Right. You'll start wearing blue and brown." Yeah. I don't think a lot of these people are. I mean, the way I see it, the younger generation, the 20-year-olds, they're like the first generation that was never told no.
Yeah.
Just can I have this? You can have that. Just
right.
So when their candidate lost a terrible campaign, they didn't know how to handle it. I mean, this is how you have someone screaming at Trump's first inauguration, "This is not America. This is a peaceful transfer of power. What the hell are you talking about?" Mm-hmm. And it's just, and luckily, I don't think, I mean, the real martyrs, the real torchbearers are still tried and true, but I'm not seeing as much of, calling him Hitler and all this other stuff that we had, 6 years ago.
No, it's CNN every single night, dude. Every single night.
I don't watch.
I know.
You got to write him off after a while, Rob.
I catch the highlights.
Why?
Because there's a guy on there named Scott Jennings that's awesome. That completely just puts everybody's argument in the crapper immediately, and so I catch the highlights that they show of him.
Lowlights.
Oh, well, he's really good. He just he's like, what are you talking? He just brings logic to the crazy, the emotion of it. It's like everybody's completely emotional. Right. There was one guy yesterday that said something like, well, Trump's going to install somebody in the military that's going to, usurp the Constitution. It's like the president controls the military. What are you talking about? What are you?
That's how it works. That's yeah. Like everyone in boot camp learns the chain of command. That's the very top of it.
Yeah.
All the way down to your division leader,
I mean, but the thing is the word. I had lunch with a friend of mine today, and we started talking about this, and I started talking about the money that they're finding that is going overseas and what it's for. And she's caught the headlines, some of it, but there's so much that's not getting out there still. There's so much of this, of the information that we are finding out that is not making it to mainstream regular people that don't follow the news. I mean, right. or don't search out alternative sources for their news, right? People that search out, they get more. They get more of the pie. But yeah, so 23 hours ago, the Supreme Court did something that they never do, which is, and I don't know if you saw this, but there was a
the reverse discrimination case.
No. The district court, this district court judge had said that the Trump administration needs to pay the frozen foreign aid. He'd put a temporary injunction in and
then he put a permanent one in
and said that you got to pay this $2 billion in frozen foreign aid. You have to do it. They didn't do it. And so eventually he said, he put down a timeline. Like, you have to do this by the 25th, I think was the timeline, or the 26th, right? Like, you have to do this by the 26th. And they basically said, one, there's no way to do it. Two, you don't have, you district court judge cannot tell the chief executive to pay money to overseas foreign aid. You just can't do it. You don't have the standing, right?
Yeah.
But this judge said you have a deadline to it. They took it to the appeals court, which is the very first step, right? They took it to the appeals court and said, appeals court, this is unconstitutional. This is a giant overstep.
This is not the checks or the balance.
Right. This is a giant overstep of the judiciary, of a district court. Do something. And you're correct that the appeals court punted. The appeals court said, no, we're not going to look into it. Sorry, go away.
Yeah.
So last night,
we'll play leapfrog.
Upon consideration,
1 page. My God.
Oh yeah, just a quick thing. Upon consideration of the application of counsel for the applicants, it is ordered that the February 25th, 2025 orders of the United States District Court for the District of Columbia. It's funny because they only are pulling these cases up in certain districts around the country.
Yeah.
Are hereby stayed pending further order of the undersigned or of the court. It is further ordered that any response to the application be filed by Friday. So basically, they want briefs filed in the Supreme Court by Friday from both the parties that says, okay, what's your argument? And so this could be the first step of the Supreme Court cracking down on district courts overstepping their constitutional authority, because there's only one court in the Constitution, right?
Right.
It is the Supreme Court. There is a word about other
federal judges appointed for life, yada yada.
Yeah, but it talks about how Congress can create, inferior courts, I think, or whatever the term is, but that Congress can create other courts as needed, right? But the Supreme Court is the check. I mean, that's the check and balance on the executive office, and to have just singular judges like this guy think that they can run the executive branch is just it's getting out of hand. I mean, it really is.
Because he's got the big picture as to how the money works in this country.
Oh yeah, no, right, exactly. He's a brand new judge. He's only been on the bench since December, dude.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
like one of Biden's last appointees.
Correct.
Crooked Schumer.
Because somebody was, and then he wouldn't have even made it if somebody hadn't have been absent that day. One of the Republicans was absent that day. And so, I mean, this guy is like way unqualified to even be on the bench.
And he's now appointed for life.
Yep. And so, and he's got the authority to go in and say, you have to spend billions and billions of dollars.
Yeah, what the hell? It's not his money.
You have to pay this overseas aid. And it's like, no, you don't. I mean, you don't have that authority. That authority does not exist in the district court. It just doesn't. Not constitutionally, I don't believe. That's my opinion. So we'll see what the Supreme Court says.
I was pleased to see that it was actually John Roberts stepping in, because historically, he has not been a Donald Trump fan.
Right.
But, when you've been a judge this long and you actually get to that position, chances are you know how to judge.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Thomas and Gorsuch, in an opinion last year, had mentioned this phenomenon of district court judges overstepping their bounds. and that the court would have to take this up eventually. Let me see if I can look that up.
In the meantime, did you hear about the reverse discrimination case?
No.
Yeah. I had the meat and potatoes just in my mind the other. But I hate the term reverse discrimination because it's really, jumbo shrimp. But a lady passed over for promotions because basically the person deciding who gets promoted was homosexual, and homosexuals are the only ones getting promotions. Straight people are not getting them and actually even getting demoted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so I think she might have gotten somewhere district, and then appellate said no standing or no merit, something like that.
Okay.
But Supreme Court took the case. They're going to hear it soon. Decision in the summer, like always. But it's almost standing like you get the feeling that the court's leaning towards the straight white people saying, yeah, you can't discriminate them against them for being straight or being white either.
Have they done oral arguments yet on that, or is that coming up?
I think it's coming up like this week, or they've done the arguments. Yeah,
they took the case, and so now. Okay, so this was a CBS News story, April 10th, 2024. So coming up on a year, and I'm not sharing the right screen. Share this tab instead. So when the Supreme Court heard arguments in two high-stakes separate cases last month, Justice Neil Gorsuch raised concerns about how both disputes arrived in court. Cases, one involving Biden's administration's communication with social media companies, and the other, the accessibility of a common use abortion pill, landed before the justices after federal district courts issued nationwide orders that blocked federal agencies from taking certain actions.
Why do they have judicial districts if they just get to, order the whole nation?
Yeah, right. The cases, one, and in the social media case, a Louisiana judge barred certain White House administrative officials from communicating with social media companies. That was
probably a good call.
But still, it does overstep the bounds. And then in abortion case, the Texas judge suspended the Food and Drug Administration's 2000 approval of another drug. A rash of universal injunctions, known as a nationwide or universal injunction. These far-reaching orders bar the government from enforcing the policy at issue against anyone, anywhere in the country, and extend beyond the relief necessary to protect the plaintiffs who brought the lawsuits. And they trouble Gorsuch, who laminated. There have been a rash of them lately.
Lamented.
Thank you.
Yes.
This case seems like a prime example of turning what could be a small lawsuit into a nationwide legislative assembly and an FDA rule. So, he's talked about this before, and he's talked about how courts are definitely going to have to take this issue up about these nationwide injunctions, and then the forum shopping too. That's what's going on here is forum shopping. Is they're going to a court they know is going to be.
Yeah, they should stop not kicking a case out based on standing or jurisdiction issues. If all your parties are in the 3rd judicial district, you need to file that in the 3rd judicial district.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Go to where your case should be. Not
to where you've got favorable judges.
Right, exactly. And that's always what they look for. And like I said, Thomas has limited it, has piped in on this. So this
which
case
is rare he speaks.
Right. Well, this case might be the one to actually get that rolling.
Yeah. He was on the Supreme Court bench for like 20 years before he even asked a question on record.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He just took the information in, and he never had questions for anyone arguing in front of him. I mean, the other judges did, of course, but he just took his information. They went and back at their huddle. 5 months later, came out with a decision. But yeah, it was like 20 years before he finally, asked to get. So you're saying the sky's blue? Okay, we'll write that down. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't even that much of a question, but it was just like such big news that he did.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, yeah, he was quiet for a long time, wasn't he?
But from what I understand, socially outside, take the robe off, and he's just a super outgoing guy. What he's teaching at university and whatnot. He's got the gift of gab. He just, when he's filling his role is, in most courts, the court doesn't do any of the investigating. They just weigh the evidence brought to it.
Right.
So with that, I can certainly understand why a judge doesn't have questions to ask, because he wants the people giving the testimony to give him the information for him to judge.
No, yeah, exactly.
I used to see that when I was working in court here. Someone tried to say something like, yeah, but if you were to subpoena his or his phone records, as if the court could, just pull those up right now, and then just have to remind it, we don't do any of the information gathering. We just weigh the information you bring us.
No, exactly. We're not investigating. We're here to.
Yeah, you need to do all this investigating before the court date.
You need to give us your argument. We're here for arguments. Like, you need to not only give us your argument, you need to give us the examples of other court cases or whatever, your precedents,
Yeah. This is why we had all those pre-trial conferences and whatnot.
Stare decisis. Stare decisis. I remember that term.
Yes.
Which is the basically it's when it's another term for precedent, when something is, it was a big conversation about when Roe versus Wade was overturned, the stare decisis, the decision that, kept Roe versus Wade as the law of the land. And, it was a big argument as to why to keep that.
The child in question, the baby, was born, is alive today.
Oh yeah.
Even though that was the decision that gave pretty much the nation the legal right to, terminate your pregnancy, but the actual baby in question was never at risk.
Wow, that's crazy.
Now think about how long it takes, to go to get in front of the Supreme Court. Years from your initial case.
No, exactly.
So unless they found a way to pause the poor lady's pregnancy until
yeah, just hold that for 6 years.
We got litigation.
So I saw this just a little bit ago too. There's a new EO signed executive order. Trump has signed an executive order that revokes the security clearances of Covington and Burlington LLP, which is a law partnership, employees who worked with deranged Jack Smith to weaponize government. So you ask, who would be some Covington and Burlington employees? Burling. I said Burlington, didn't I? Burling employees who worked with Jack Smith. Well, Victoria Newland. We've heard of her before. Probably, if there was... Oh, shit, I'm not sharing. Hang on, damn it. This one!
Yeah.
The probably most evil person on the face of the earth.
Hillary's dead?
She's worse, dude.
Okay. Well.
She's worse. I guarantee it. She's the one that carries out the orders. She actually does the dirty work.
The bitch of Buchenwald.
2014 coup that replaced the Russian-leaning leader of Ukraine, right there. Muammar Gaddafi, right there. Multiple others.
I still didn't understand why we had to go oust Gaddafi like it was done. Reagan solved the Gaddafi question in like 85. And he really wasn't a pain in America's side ever since.
He had too much information.
Yeah, I'll bet.
The weapons, the whole Benghazi thing, he knew about the weapons that we sold them.
Mm-hmm.
So he had to go, or all of them were in trouble. I mean, yeah. That's why Stevens was there, to get the stuff back that they had shipped over there. I mean, it's a freaking mess. But guess who else? Guess who else is a Covington and Burling employee? This guy ring a bell?
Oh yeah, I remember him.
Familiar.
Contempt of Congress for apparently no teeth.
Yeah. Oh, except, when you get contempt of Congress charges and your name is Steve Bannon, you actually go to prison.
Mm-hmm.
But when your name's Eric Holder, nothing happens.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, there's just a couple of
and when they go low, we kick them. Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, exactly. There's just a couple of the lovely folks who that guy
Jack Smith.
Yeah, Jack Smith.
I mean, he I don't know if he could actually look himself in the mirror and say he was representing his client without passion or prejudice.
Right.
No.
Nah.
Well, he's a lawyer, so we know he can lie.
This is true. This is true. It is freaking... It's crazy. So what have we found today in the government efficiency? So far, we've got 60 million people for Indigenous peoples and Afro-Colombian empowerment. 74 million for inclusive justice in Colombia.
You know what would be helpful? Is if we were given the time frames that they were given this money, because they weren't given like a $79 million check last week, right? So
right,
they were given a total of 79 million since 2002 to present day.
Well, there's probably
that,
there's probably more to be spent too. That's the thing.
Sure, but if I were to add all these up, they don't even equal our total budget at all. So it's like, this is all funny money.
Well, yeah, but it all adds up though.
Well, it all adds up if we have the time frame, because it's without the time frame, it's almost as if all these checks were written, just last week and we just found out about it,
Right.
But if they got 79 million over the course of the past 50 years.
No, this is all within the last few years, or that still has to go. I mean, this is like canceled. These are all either canceled or they're all, and you can find. I mean, you can find these. You can find every single one of these. Trying to get back to the. I mean, you can find every single one of these contributions on the Data Republicans website, and you can see exactly when it was,
What is the 8 billion to reduce stigma? What's that place name?
I saw that too, and I had no idea what the hell that was.
That's a look up.
Hang on, let's look up Lesotho, because I don't know what Lesotho is. You're correct. I saw that too, and I'm like, wait, what? So Lesotho is formerly the Kingdom of Lesotho, also known as Basutoland, the landlocked country in southern Africa. Okay, it's in Africa.
Okay.
Wow, it's like a carve out of South Africa.
What?
When did that happen?
What do they call those? Enclaves or? Well, it's not an enclave. It's not an enclave nowhere else. It's somewhere else. But
yeah. So that's weird, huh?
Yeah. But yeah, I'll barely admit that I am not familiar with the countries and capitals of the African continent. That's for sure.
1966. So it's been around for a grip there.
So it's on the globe.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be on a globe. If you had a globe, you could find it.
Well, I got a globe, or we might have sold it, but we had one in here that still had Zimbabwe on it.
Okay. Well,
I'm sorry, it had Rhodesia on it.
Let's see if we can look up one of these. Let's see if we can find these things. So give me a moment. Give me a moment to get to the Data Republicans website and let's see what we can find. And I will share this tab. We will look for federal grant search. Okay. And then we will go back to the Doge thing. All right. And then I'm just going to look up inclusive justice in Colombia. And let's see did I spell Colombia right? Yeah.
I can't see that font.
Oh, yeah.
Everything except the capital C.
Yeah, it's not going to worry about. No
Or is it a
results
U?
found.
No,
Okay.
it's COLU, I think.
Yep. No, it is O. I just checked it. All right, let's see. We have a bunch of different inclusive justice ones. Okay. Nothing came up for Colombia,
they all
though.
they all seem domestic, though.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, you can't. I mean, look at how this shit that they put in there for this stuff. I mean, yes, it might go to a local agency, but it can very well be going overseas just because it's going somewhere.
Agency for International Development. Could you please get more vague?
Yeah. No, that's the AID.
Yeah.
That is USAID.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. AID.
I got that, but okay.
What are you thinking?
Well, I've just never seen it written like that.
Yeah, that's the one they're talking about, the USAID thing. That is the Agency for International Development. This one is $20 million for advanced human rights, such as inclusive development. USAID will, and it doesn't say where, does it? It says the United States, but who knows? All right, let's see what Colombia brings up, just out of curiosity. Because we got to go through about $534 million worth of this. So there's $31 million to improve education systems and expertise to achieve the government of Colombia's goal to provide sustainability and inclusive quality education.
Shouldn't our cocaine dollars pay for that?
World Food Program, Pan American Development Foundation, enhanced human security conditions. That's $34 million. $19 million from USAID. Partners for Transparency will leverage local partners' expertise to promote transparency and accountability in Colombia. That's the entire description for this $19 million.
Mm-hmm.
And it ends, so we've already paid a lot of it, but we haven't paid all of it. So It looks like it ends this year. So, yeah, I'm not seeing this exact one, but I'm sure we could find it if we just kept digging.
Yeah.
But you can see, I mean, how much for Columbia? $573 million. $500 million just for typing Columbia
What
in
the
there.
hell is the 63 cents?
Okay, that's a good question. Well, there's 52 of it there. There's 22 of it there. I mean, those are very specific.
Yeah, that is specific.
33,241,437 and 52 cents.
Overall support for programming, logistical and administrative assistance with the INL section.
Columbia's operational and capacity building programs. I mean, dude, this just doesn't even. This is to pay mortgages for people in freaking Washington D.C. is what it is. This is people's mortgage payments.
Yeah, why does Columbia need U.S. money anyway? They're already getting it through our cocaine dollars,
right? I was talking about this today. The Turquoise Mountain one.
QU.
Yeah, I figure. I might have to look this up a different way.
You spelled turquoise wrong.
No, it changed it.
Oh.
I did the
Okay.
thing. I did the thing. I did the spell check thing.
You think capitalization matters?
No. Not on here. Graph. So I don't know if you saw that. This guy was complaining. His wife ran this thing called Turquoise Mountain, and he was complaining that she never got the last $1 million that she was entitled from USAID.
Yeah, I'll bet with all the money she was given, she was still clipping coupons.
Right. Oh, yeah. See if we can find it. So here's the guy complaining about it here. Let me share this. This is a quick clip. So here's dude.
Stopped. Doesn't matter. You have a contract. So, Turquoise Mountain, which my wife Shoshana runs, has a contract. Had another $1 million to go. Money just stops. Stopped. Doesn't matter.
Had another $1 million to go, and they just shut off the stream.
Yeah.
So what did Turquoise Mountain do? Here's a clip from a BBC doc showing Roy Stewart's U.S. taxpayer-funded welfare program, the Turquoise Mountain Foundation in action. Note how it hires severely undereducated people from Britain's collapsing education system to lecture normal people about art toilets. So they went to Afghanistan.
So this is in
Taught Afghan women about modern art.
some ways often called the first piece of conceptual art.
این را که ما می‌بینیم نمونه اینه بعضی مردم اولین کار هنری مفکوره‌ای میگن.
Does anyone know what it is?
آیا شما کسی می‌فهمه چی است؟
I don't expect the ladies to know.
کمود است. Toilet.
Exactly. An artist called Marcel
I mean, look at them. They're just like, what is going on here?
Duchamp, who's very important in Western art, put this toilet in an art gallery about 100 years ago. It was.
This is what our tax dollars, this $1 million that she didn't get because she had a contract. This is what it goes for, dude.
Yeah.
This is the type of stuff.
And we've known that's not new. I remember federal grants going to artists for this. And what did we end up with? I remember one time it was a drinking glass full of urine with a crucifix in it.
Yes.
And that was the art. That. And I'm like, okay. So you're making some sort of statement. I'm not listening to it, but you're making some sort of statement. And somehow this is just invaluable art. No, that is dirty dishes, contaminated crucifix, and I can't even trust you to use the toilet right now.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Oh, I know.
And that was always more of a waste to me than, say, some of the grants to universities for their studies, like studying squirrel migrations in Central Park,
No, right. Exactly. I mean, and
why the gargle-eyed frog gets depressed during, winter.
There are valid studies and
the college grants are, how we ended up with a lot of the education we have, given these scientist students, hey, go study this topic and see what you come up with.
Yes. There is valid reasons to spend money on education. There's valid reason to spend money on research. And there is also valid reason to spend money overseas. There really is. When we have it, of course. But there is validity in what's called soft power or soft, and in some of that. But what's happened is it's been overrun. It's been overrun by one party, and all of the money for the good things that we're trying to do overseas, like the food stuff and all that. It's incumbent on those countries to also implement the things that they want, like the LGBT stuff, the all of the cultural stuff that maybe these countries don't necessarily need or want. It is a condition to get other money to run these other programs. It's a condition.
When we're helping other countries, just basic example, what it should be, like, let's say this country A has trouble feeding their people.
Yes.
So instead of giving them food, because that'll never stop, I'll always have to be giving them food, and we're feeding them now. Instead, we need to give them soil and seeds and teach them how to farm.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And then eventually they can get self-reliant and grow their own damn food.
Right. Oh, no, exactly. So
it's much better for us to give them our food.
This was yesterday. They had another Doge hearing. And this questioning from Representative Tim Burchett from Tennessee is unfreaking believable. So
Roman, are you aware that we are sending $40 million a week?
Yeah, I saw this one.
To the Taliban.
Yes, sir.
Can you name other instances of foreign aid going to terrorist organizations?
We have assisted Al-Shabaab in Somalia. There's been instances of the Hamzi network in Sudan, Hamas, Islamic Jihad, Hezbollah, Kata'iba Hezbollah, Hayat Tahrir al-Shams in Syria. Dozens of terror organizations have received indirect assistance from U.S. foreign aid.
Could you elaborate a little bit on the mechanisms in place that are to stop foreign aid?
Right, because it goes around four corners, right? They won't directly send it, but they'll send it
negotiate with terrorists.
Yeah, right. But we'll send it to a different organization, and then that organization will send that to a different organization, and then eventually it gets to gets where they want it to go. I mean, that's what it is.
Terrorist groups, and why are they not working if we have any in place? And I would note that these are. You notice these are terrorist weaponry. You see some AKs, SKSs, some snipers, some clips, some clip carrier
magazine. Damn it!
Yeah,
probably made in China, and I believe these are.
I don't know what a clip is.
Yeah, it's right there. If you look on your ammo, if it has an R on the end of it, it's for ribbed, because the ammo has a rib, and it goes into basically it's a clip. It's almost like a hair clip.
Yeah.
So World War II, when you see with the M1 Garand, how would they fire and that thing pops straight up when they expelled all 8 rounds.
Yep.
That thing that pops up is the clip.
Okay,
so you stick another thing of aid in there and get your thumb out the way because it's going to take your thumb off if you don't.
Yeah, SKS is the same way. It kind of
SKS would, because that does have a fixed magazine, so that would be a clip fed.
Yep.
Use Gaza as our case study. $2.1 billion in American taxpayers' money to Gaza since October 7th when Hamas invaded southern Israel. USAID money was going in terms of an emergency use authorization to try to go to parties that USAID formerly had a relationship with in the Gaza Strip. They had to have been vetted by OFAC. They should have been vetted against the special designated terror list from the State Department and from other Treasury organizations. Waivers were granted because they said that there was an emergency use to have that money come in to Gaza, thereby jettisoning the usual typical screening procedures. As a result, 90% of aid that was going from the United States by way of its agents in Gaza ended up in Hamas-controlled areas. And this is ridiculous. Essentially, what the U.S. assistance to Gaza did was underwrite the ability for Hamas to survive until the ceasefire was just passed a few weeks ago. There was no strategic thought for it, and there was no screening.
Seems like the emergency might have been armed terrorists to kill civilians. Would that be accurate?
That's accurate, and even more than that, Samantha Powers, the administrator for USAID, was intent on having Israel not be able to defend itself.
That statement right there blew me away.
Powers, the administrator for USAID, was intent
Samantha
on
Powers.
Samantha Powers, the administrator for USAID, was intent on having Israel not be able to defend itself.
To not be able to defend it.
Correct.
Mr. Promerak.
That's another, like, yeah, these people are just crazy, dude. Samantha Power, Susan Rice, Victoria Nuland.
I
Your
don't
favorite?
know if you've ever heard of the Israeli Defense Force, but they're going to defend themselves.
Yeah, right?
Correct.
Exactly.
Primorak, I got Burchett, man. Nobody gets mine right, so don't worry about it. What is it, Primorak?
Perfect.
All right, thanks, brother. How did terrorists exploit our foreign aid loopholes?
Well, we have a lot of our
Can you pull your mic up? I'm sorry.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
You have international NGOs and UN agencies actively lobby here in Washington, D.C. against vetting policies that would prevent it. I was the senior vetting officer at.
You have the UN and NGOs which lobby to bypass the vetting process.
Yep.
I mean,
At USAID, and what
Hold
we
on a second. Did you say United Nations is doing this? The UN?
Sure, everybody who's getting money lobbies here.
That they're lobbying against us. I'm sorry, Mr. Roman.
There's actually someone who used to work for one of those lobbies, the largest NGO lobby, Interaction. One of our co-witnesses here worked for them from 2018 to 2023. USAID effectively self-funds its own external private lobby that then goes back to Congress and asks for more money for USAID.
So,
where are we, man? What is
it's like
going
a big
on?
lazy Susan of grift.
It is so freaking amazing. And you won't find this on regular CNN will not talk about this. MSNBC will not talk about this. They won't cover this.
Oh,
you
no,
won't hear this.
MSNBC is talking about how they're sexist and racist for getting rid of Joy Reid.
the taxpayers
Yeah,
fund
right.
lobbyists who's working against American interests.
Correct.
Possibly killing our allies and possibly Americans.
They bring together groups in Washington that overseas work with groups that kill Americans.
Yeah, I don't need a flow chart to show that. I appreciate it. Do you think USAID programs have been aligned with the national security interests of the U.S.?
No, they have not. They have actually helped China.
Mr. Roman?
No.
Okay. How do these programs compromise our national security, Mr. Primorak?
They actually push China. They actually push much of the world towards China on the green energy agenda. They push ordinary people, billions of people towards China because of the resentment caused by our social re-engineering.
Are we...
Right there. What I said earlier too is they make the other aid contingent on the social re-engineering that these folks that have been in charge now for dozens of years since 2008.
Yeah.
Since 2008 is when this started. It started in 2008, and we've had 4 years. You had 4 years of the Trump administration from 2016 to 2020 that had no chance. They had no chance to rein this in at all.
Yeah, they were too busy
chance.
fighting. They were too busy fighting allegations like Trump colluded with Russia.
Right. No, exactly. And impeachments and all that. I mean, they
you know, this whole time with the Russia nonsense, I was just thinking of J.K. Simmons and Burn After Reading, and just the Russians.
Right. Oh, yeah, exactly.
And no one else in America did that with me. I was just like, what are you guys? No.
Yeah.
No, they're not an issue.
Yeah, exactly.
Currently.
But a lot of these countries don't even have to lobby because they get the money anyway, like South Africa.
Yeah, and in fact, these lobbyists have come to the House and have tried to kill legislation like H.R. 160, which was meant to increase transparency in USAID's funding of overseas organizations.
Is that a current piece of legislation?
That's from the last session.
And give me that number again.
H.R. 160.
And what does it do?
It was meant to give U.S. lawmakers the ability to have higher transparency in terror financing investigations aimed at scrutinizing extremist groups.
Mr. Brimerick?
We had a regulation before we left in the last administration that anybody who touches money in countries where there's terrorists, those names have to go through databases, terrorist databases. That was overturned by Biden.
Overturned by Biden. Chair Lady, I am currently 5 seconds, but I wanted to mention something. There's a lot of rhetoric used on this committee, and I would urge my friends on both sides of the aisle, let's stick to the actual information. This rhetoric is, I've received death threats, and I know the Chair Lady has, and it needs to stop. We need to tone it down. Thank you, Chair Lady.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Good grief.
The death threats are ridiculous as well.
Oh, yeah.
Why would anyone think that posting a threat like that to your open to the public account on social media is the right thing to do? This is like, before I even get to the argument, why are these thoughts even in your head?
Mm-hmm.
Why is it in your head to tell the world? And then you get surprised when, a couple federal agents are knocking on your door by the end of the week.
Yeah, no, exactly. Oh, my good God.
You see the one where the one girl also mentioned she filed taxes in like 8 years, as well as threatening to kill Elon Musk. I'm like, well,
yeah.
Why don't we just, strike down on our tally board here?
No,
all the things we're going to talk to you about.
Oh my gosh, it's so crazy.
You actually don't have to file taxes if you don't owe. Do you know that?
Yeah, no, right. No, you don't. Absolutely.
They're not obligated to give you your return if you don't file, but if you don't owe, you don't have to file.
Right. No, exactly.
But if you want that return.
Yeah, if you want to get the money back, you've got to file it. So the other big story today was supposedly the Epstein files were going to be released, and this has been a complete shit show. I mean, there's no other way to describe it, with everything that went on today with this stupid release. And
I just want to keep this like foremost in your mind. I've said it before, but the only reason any information is classified is because if that information fell into adversarial hands, it could cause damage, severe damage, or extreme damage to the United States. Now tell me why anything involved with Jeffrey Epstein is classified. Damage to the United States is the only reason it's classified.
Yeah, right. No, exactly. And it should not be.
Yeah, so go ahead. What went wrong today?
So
something happened in New York?
Well, they basically supposedly had all these files, but then the files turned out to be stuff that's already been released. But it sounds like there's a bunch of files that the New York FBI office is withholding from the
hoarding.
Yeah. So let's Liz Wheeler. So this is from Liz Wheeler. Let me share this tab. President Trump and AG Pam Bondi committed to release the Epstein files. The FBI was told to deliver the files to her. They did, about 200 pages. She smelled a rat because there's nothing juicy in 1,000 pages. Yeah. But she promised to release the docket, so she did. Then she got a whistleblower contacted her and said, hey, the Southern District of New York is potentially hiding thousands of files. And, So the little bit of crap that she released today that has nothing to do with it is just a bunch of crap. But she has basically told Kash Patel to actually figure out what the hell is going on, get her the actual documents, and supposedly they're supposed to have them tomorrow. But I'm skeptical. I'm totally freaking skeptical.
Yeah,
but
you can't put them back into the shredder.
No, exactly. You can't take them out of the shredder, and it sounds like there is. It's basically it's an internal civil war between the long-standing people in these agencies and the new administration. I mean, that's all it comes down to is people that think that they have a duty or something to
these non-elected people.
Correct. Oh yeah. No, exactly. The non-elected people. You're absolutely correct. So I don't know if this is actually Pam Bondi.
Attorney General Pam Bondi said this.
What you're going to see hopefully tomorrow is a lot of flight logs, a lot of names, a lot of information, but it's pretty sick what that man did.
So we were looking today to find out more about why the government's been so suspiciously protective of Jeffrey Epstein. This afternoon, a bunch of conservative influencers left a meeting at the White House with binders that said the Epstein files, phase 1. Once the binders were opened, people were able to see flight records and Epstein's Rolodex and a list of masseuses. The masseuses' names were blacked out, and the information from the flight logs wasn't new. Neither was the Rolodex. When we began to feel duped, Pam Bondi released a letter that says, basically, I was duped too. In the letter addressed to FBI Director Kash Patel, Bondi basically says, I asked you for the full and complete files related to Jeffrey Epstein. I received 200 pages of documents. I asked if these were all the documents, and the FBI said yes. Late yesterday, I learned from a source at the FBI field office in New York was in possession of thousands of pages of documents related to the investigation and the indictment of Epstein. Despite my repeated requests, the FBI never disclosed the evidence of these files. Bondi's demanding by 8 a.m. tomorrow morning.
What did he say?
Evidence.
Oh.
That the FBI deliver everything to her office, including all records, audio, video recordings, all materials related to Epstein. And she ensures DOJ will disclose everything. And she's directing Patel to begin an immediate investigation into why the FBI isn't following orders. So who's in charge at the New York FBI field office? Who's withholding Epstein docs from the Attorney General? James Dennehy is running the show there. There he is. This is the guy who emailed his whole staff to dig in after Trump took office. And don't forget that James Comey's daughter is an assistant U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York. She worked on the Epstein and Maxwell cases. She's kind of knee-deep in this. Epstein was facing sex trafficking charges in Lower Manhattan. Where's all that paperwork?
See that, and that's like his paramour, right-hand woman, assistant Maxwell is the only person that has ever been convicted of trafficking no one. She was convicted of trafficking, but we've never figured out who she trafficked anyone to. Right?
Well, if the attractive people were binders, we're not going to get their names. At most, we'll get their initials.
Well, I'm talking about who she trafficked to, because you have to have a traffickee.
Okay.
You have to have a trafficker, and you have to have
her traffic customers.
Correct. You have to have a customer for the traffic, and we have zero.
And that person would be a criminal by definition.
Oh, absolutely. But we have not heard one single. Well, we've heard lots of names. We've heard lots of innuendo. We've heard a lot of this person was on a flight and this person was on the plane, but
but even the plane, even on the plane doesn't doesn't actually put you in the guilty box. I mean, it might have you say, "Hey, could you explain what you were doing on this day?"
Right. No, exactly.
But it doesn't actually mean,
it doesn't.
you know,
no, it doesn't. It doesn't. It has really, yeah, because you can't get from here. You can't get from here to here just by being on a plane, just by being on a flight, right? Or just by, going to the island. Maybe you get in a little more.
Or maybe that this dirtbag Epstein had you, like your contact information in his, list of people he has contact information. Doesn't mean anything either, because this guy was a horrible name dropper.
Oh my gosh, he knew. I mean, yeah, and we don't know how he got his money. That's never come out. Is how he actually got his. It hasn't. How he got so much money.
Right.
Like how,
especially
he
as a
ended up
convicted
with,
felon on the sex registry.
Yeah.
Continued making money after that.
We've never heard exactly how dude has got all his money. So
the FBI
are we going to get it?
Surveillance videos, banking records, file cabinets, and photographs from all of Epstein's properties in New Mexico, the Virgin Islands, Palm Beach, and in New York. The Justice Department also gave Epstein a sweetheart non-prosecution deal 17 years ago. Where are those files? The Bureau of Prisons. Where are those?
I like the giggle after the kill.
Far about that. Why everything
that was a little giggle
seemed
there.
to go wrong that night.
When I first heard all the information and all the coincidences here, I was suspicious.
What were the coincidences? I mean, those were a lot of coincidences.
Well, one of the cameras was out.
Right.
He was supposed to have a cellmate. The cellmate left. They didn't replace the cellmate. And the guards who were supposed to check him every half hour didn't check him.
My EMT source said he was on the scene immediately to pull Epstein's body out to the morgue. And when he got to the cell, he saw 7 people there touching Epstein's body and moving stuff around. Trump did say during the campaign he'd release these files, so it's not like this came out of the blue. Correct. Jeffrey Epstein did act as an informant to the FBI. Is the Bureau?
We still don't have JFK files either, do we, Michael?
No.
We have no JFK.
Because that information could cause damage if it fell into adversarial hands.
Right. Oh, yeah.
70 years later.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Is the Bureau embarrassed that they let hundreds of young victims down? This was all happening right under everyone's noses. Epstein was probably an intelligence asset, rumored to be working with the Israelis, maybe this country, probably other countries. Was he a double agent? He had dirt on everyone and a knack for making cash.
And there you go. That's one of the reasons why you're not getting the information, is because it's embarrassing, right? It's embarrassing to multiple countries.
And he's dead. So the government has no one to protect but themselves. Last night on Jesse.
And then, yeah, so I don't know. And
Mic drop right there.
We will see if we get, we'll see what happens tomorrow. I don't know. Check in Tuesday. Okay, at least one more thing tonight. Did you see the new book that's coming out, Michael?
Oh boy, that's open-ended.
There's a new book.
Oh yes, I heard about this one
coming out.
Yes.
Called Original Sin.
Oh,
President
you bastards!
Biden's decline,
you lying bastards!
It's cover up in his disastrous choice to run again by guess who? Jake Tapper of CNN put his name on this book.
Uh-huh.
Now, from what I've gathered, Alex Thompson is an Axios journalist who actually
propagandist.
He actually came out early and said something's wrong, and he paid a price for it. Right? So Alex Thompson actually was a voice saying, hey, dude's not right.
I mean, they were even lying to the legislature, because the legislature was asking Biden, like press officials and whatnot. It's like, who's in control of the president's press conference? Because soon as he apparently is going off script, it just gets shut down.
Right.
while he's still talking. I don't know what's talking about there. President's young and spry. He's working circles around me. Dude.
No, exactly. So here is some of co-author Jake Tapper's greatest hits.
And unable to successfully.
So first we have Jamie Raskin talking about Trump in 2018.
Meet the powers and duties of office. And that's the constitutional standard. The question of whether he is a malignant narcissist or he has obsessive paranoid tendencies and so on, all of those are interesting and they might be relevant, but they're not definitive for the constitutional question of whether he's able to meet the duties of office. And of course, we've got big public policy crises going on now. We've got a gun violence crisis. We've got the tax bill, which was bought and paid for by the Koch brothers and the Mercers and so on. We got serious stuff to deal with, and instead we're caught up every day.
Same rhetoric all the time.
In what looks like
billionaires and billionaires.
It's a very dangerous and unstable situation, as a number of Republican senators have themselves observed.
Yes, curse the Koch brothers, ignore Soros.
So here we go. Here's Jake not pushing back at all after Jamie Raskin is, trying to diagnose.
We're opposition to President Trump because of his politics, because of his style, because of his, let's call them eccentricities, that's not clouding your judgment.
All of us have politics, and all of us see the world through our own political and moral and ethical perspectives. And that's why the framers
you have
of the
no
25th
morals,
Amendment,
you
like
have no
George
ethics.
Fye and Senator Robert F. Kennedy said, what we need is an independent body to be set up. And that's all that the legislation, H.R. 1987, proposes, to set up an 11-member commission, bipartisan in nature. Republicans appoint half, Democrats appoint half. The 10 members appoint a chair together, and they can only act with the Vice President of the United States, consistent with the 25th Amendment. I know a lot of people would like to read the 25th Amendment out of the Constitution, but every part of the Constitution is part of the Constitution, and we need every tool in the constitutional toolkit out on the table to get us through this very difficult period in American history.
Is very clearly a cognitive decline.
Okay.
That's what I'm referring to. It makes me uncomfortable.
You have no. I can't. That's so amazing. It's so amazing to me that
try and figure out an answer.
A cognitive decline.
When you're trying to tell me that what I was suggesting was
I think that you were mocking his stutter. Yeah, I think you were mocking his stutter, and I think you have absolutely no standing to diagnose somebody's cognitive decline. I would think.
So 2018, no problem. Just talk about all you want. 2020, how dare you mock somebody's stutter?
That somebody in the Trump family would be more sensitive to people who do not have medical licenses, diagnosing politicians from afar.
And this bitch is going to put his name on a book about the cover-up of Biden's decline.
And yeah, don't believe your own lying eyes. It was so insulting too. If Joe Biden was your granddad, we'd have had the conversation about taking the keys away a long time ago.
Oh, absolutely.
That man shouldn't have been put in charge of picking dessert, except they're saying that he needed to be in charge of the executive.
Yeah, exactly. I like this meme. It should have been, if I did it, how I would have lied about President Biden's decline, its cover up, and his disastrous choice to run again.
Nice.
Yep, the old OJ.
Yeah.
The old OJ book.
Yeah, so I was thinking the next Democrat book to come out is going to be the search for the missing 15 million voters that disappeared after the 2020 election.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no, exactly.
And they also magically reappeared. They actually magically appeared for it.
Yeah. And then Amy Curtis, I follow her. She is just a person, but she did this thread that's really, really good. I read through it. Like, in 2021, 2 months after his inauguration, it was clear Joe Biden was unwell.
I'm sorry, it was clear during the campaign.
Yeah, exactly. And throughout the campaign, his presidency, it was clear he was unwell, wandering off, not taking questions. He had the prompts telling him stage directions, right? You enter the Roosevelt room and say hello. You take your seat. He had to have a card to show him and tell him where to go.
Yeah.
He had cards to identify press members, reported.
And what press member to call on for their question, because you already knew the question they were allowed to ask ahead of time.
Right. And you had the answer.
Your prepared answer.
You had your prepared answer. And then Robert Hur declined to prosecute him because his decline was so bad.
Yeah.
And of course, that made Democrats mad. And then Biden even made car noises during his interview with her. He made freaking car noises. But what did they do? They attacked Robert Hur because he wasn't a doctor and he couldn't assess Biden's cognitive condition.
Prosecutors make that decision all the time.
Yep. Search for Hur on Jake Tapper's account yielded one result. Of course, it is
thank you so much,
Mr. Shifty Shift.
Schiff, the basic argument you're making is that by calling President Biden a sympathetic, well-meaning old man, elderly man with a poor memory, which is how he thought he would come across to a jury, that's political. What part of that construct is...
So, yep, there you go. That's, nothing about, hey, the dude's actually not freaking well. Jake Tapper, been at CNN since 2013. He was through the 2020 campaign and administration. And now he can say it out loud, right? Now, since everybody else is saying it, he can say, he's going to try to shrug it off as no big deal. And like the rest of the media, they were the victims.
To say nothing that he was clearly a puppet, and those people pulling his strings outright usurped our Constitution as far as who's in charge.
Yep. Like Matt Iglesias is one of the dumbest fucking people in the world. One of the biggest, probably the biggest stories of 2024 is President Joe Biden's cognitive health. And that's exactly what they did. They covered it up. So here is Matt Iglesias admitting he's, a terrible journalist and just all around not a smart guy. I thought Joe Biden was going to prove his doubters wrong at the big debate. I know that ever since that humiliation, the world thinks the entire media was in on a massive cover up. But the fact is, many of us, I clicked the wrong thing. The fact is, sorry, wrong thing. The world thinks this is an entire media was on a massive cover up, but the fact is many of us and seemingly many members of his team genuinely thought the situation was better than it was.
Were you watching?
In a lot of ways, it's more embarrassing to have been gullible and wrong when so many people with no sources and no inside info could see it clearly. But that's what happened. I was just wrong. I'm just a dumbass. I'm sorry. I'm just a fucking idiot.
Sad, very sad.
I can't believe I'm such a moron that I couldn't see that. Huh.
No, excuse me while I go move the gas light a little.
Oh my God, that guy is Matt Iglesias.
Is the gas light flickering?
Yeah.
And then another one that I can't stand is Brian Stelter.
Oh God! Oh, that potato head.
He is clearly not a journalist.
No,
he is an actor, and he's not even a good one.
No, exactly. No, they're propagandists. That's all they are. They're propagandists for one political party. It is.
He tries. I could just see. His script is. You've got 45 seconds of Phil to, come up with something, and he just comes up with the worst ways to describe the propaganda he's trying to put out.
Yep. Ugh. So a president who should have been removed from office was instead protected by the media because he had a D after his name. Remember when Trump was demented because he held a glass of water funny and walked down a ramp weird, a ramp that was wet, by the way. Yeah. I remember that.
And he's wearing dress shoes.
Yeah, exactly.
Which have like no grip on them at all.
Yep. Oh, yeah. I mean, we watched this time after time after time saying, sharp as attack, sharp as attack. He's sharp as attack.
He's working circles around me.
Yep.
I'm sure. Yeah.
But instead of consequences for the media telling you for years that it's all in your head, this is the consequence. This is the consequence. Dude gets to write a freaking book and make money from the thing that he did. Yeah. It is beyond disgusting. It is so ridiculous. Yeah. And Stelter is like, I is so glad when he got let go from freaking CNN because he did not deserve.
But he got like a teaching position at Columbia or something like that.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, no.
When you pull the root out with the weeds, you have to throw the weed away.
Yep.
You can't just go replant it somewhere else.
No, you can't. You just, because that doesn't do anything to help anyone. No, man, it's just, I'm blown away. Every single day, there's just more and more that comes out. And
they should have put the period after run. And it's disastrous choice to run.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Not just run again, run in 2020. Yeah, exactly.
No. Yeah. I remember when he was saying because he saw President Trump's very fine people comment, which turned out to be an edited quote that we all knew, but the media wouldn't admit. They just kept going with that lie. And even after it was exposed that it was an edited quote that totally changed the meaning of what he was saying, there's Biden still touting that as his reason why he had to run against him.
Right. Oh, yeah, exactly.
It's like he never got the damn memo. Or even if he did, he forgot it.
No. So, all right, last thing, then I'm going to
make it funny. Make it funny, please.
Well, it's not really funny.
Yeah,
I'm trying.
I'm going back to Secret Squirrel episodes.
Yeah. Do you ever watch Gutfeld?
Yes, Gutfeld I like.
Okay, so Kat then from Gutfeld. She did
she just got a bad round of health.
She had a baby.
And a diagnosis.
Which is just
wish you the best, Kat.
Insane. I love, she is one of my favorite freaking people on television because she's just straight. She's just straight up.
Her
she
analogies
doesn't
are hilarious.
care. Yeah, she's super hilarious. I keep doing that. She's super funny. She's super hilarious. Her books are great.
You wouldn't even have known she was pregnant because she weighs about 70 pounds.
Oh, towards you, she was showing really big there at the end.
Well, yeah, something's got to stick out of her.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because she is very, very tiny.
Nowhere to hide it. Yeah.
But she is one of the funniest people out there. But she has. It was determined that she has stage 0 breast cancer. So they found it early enough that they'll be able to get all of it out, but that's still a shock. That's got to be a shock when you're waiting to have a baby and then all of a sudden, bam, you get this news. So I really wish her well.
Yeah.
And
yeah, good luck with the baby going forward, of course.
Yeah, right. No, I mean, yeah, it's
well, hopefully she can go through the cancer treatment without having to go through the chemo and radiation and all that.
No, it sounds like they
can cut it out and be done with it.
Yeah, well, yeah, basically they're saying a double mastectomy is the best way to go about it. So, which is, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not her doctor.
I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to give medical
I'm not
advice.
her doctor, not anyone else's doctor.
I'm not even close to being a doctor, I'll tell you that much.
I am not being another student loan.
No. But I really hope she gets a you know, I can't wait to see her back on the show. Because she is super hilariously funny. I mean, some of the skits that she does are funny as heck. She is awesome.
Howdy,
And
Clockwork Orange.
Her and Iris together are freaking amazing.
Yeah.
They really, really. And somebody that let me see. Just remember we'd seen that Justine Bateman. She'd been doing some of that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. You're getting to us late there, Clockwork.
Yeah. But
yes, it's always fun.
Yeah, we try. There's just so much craziness going on that we're trying. But she came out saying, because somebody said that, she's a conservative, like my favorite news thing is somebody being a conservative. And she's like, I'm not, and I'll show you this right here. This is what she posted. She said, I am not conservative. I am not liberal. I think for myself, which is just think for yourself, basically. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, I don't know. You've got to have progress. You got to conserve some things. You've got to progress. So you've got to, it's got to be a balance, right? And the best times are when everything is freaking balanced. When we have arguments, right? And I say arguments in a good way, when we have constructive arguments from both sides, right? That we can, and compromise and stuff. And there's none of that now. It's all one way or another.
Yeah. It's,
and
it's like, you really hope it goes through waves and we're not, we're in a trough and not a crest right now, but man, I dream of a world where opposing political parties can co-govern.
Yeah, exactly. And we can get the best of both ideas and have ideas and have creative and constructive.
How they could negotiate over a bill instead of argue and name call.
Correct. We have actual debate. Oh my God, actual debate. Yeah. What a nut. What a thing. Okay,
and then we all just kind of vote on party line.
All right, fun. I got fun. I've got Snickers. Snickers. Do you remember Snickers?
Snickers the dog.
Snickers the dog came from Thailand. Mr. Neil Harbison is just the things he's doing in Thailand for the street dogs and the dogs there is just amazing. They feed like thousands of dogs a day from his group, and they get them spayed and neutered, and they get ones shoes that are thing. And then this one collects shoes. So this one is one of the ones that he fed, and she'd always bring him gifts. Like every day he would get a gift from her. And so he finally picked her up and wanted to get her a home, and she found one here in the United States. And so after like 4 or 5 day trip, she actually made it home to the United States, to her new home.
That is a long commute.
Oh yeah. So basically 6 days, traveling 6 days, 4 of those in preparation in Bangkok. So she was in Bangkok for 4 days, and then 2 days of journey. But there she is in the car on the way home. And then of course, she's got like 4 different beds. They said she's got 4 beds throughout the house, but she finds the doormat, and that's her favorite spot right there. But dogs are always going to find the one that you don't think that they're going to find.
Oh yeah, you bought that dog bed for $50 at Costco, and it'll sleep in that box.
Right, exactly. But then from the jungle bringing gifts and barely surviving to land in the United States on. So that's a very cool journey.
Yeah.
For little Miss Snickers. There's Niall. I think would pronounce his name Niall.
Yeah.
So he's a good dude.
That's a happy looking dog.
Yep. I mean, some of the stories are, I mean, like Thailand is not a rich country. It's a very poor country.
No, but
And so
I've been there several times, and they are very happy people.
Yes. Oh yeah. No. Exactly. Yep. Exactly.
I mean, they may not have much, but they're happy with what they got.
Oh, that's right. Patty put in her 2 weeks notice, so her last day is Sunday.
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
And the store rebrands. She goes back to work in the same building.
Yeah. Yeah. So no, his feed is fun to follow because he's got some really cool stuff. Like this 3-legged puppy. He found a 3-legged puppy one time, and she's going off to Spain. He places these dogs all around the world, right?
Oh gosh, how do you get them through quarantine?
Like
it's like 6 months quarantine
for Spain or for what?
No, I know for the U.S. for an animal, but apparently that dog's already in their home somehow.
Yeah, no, it's not 6 months. I mean, that Snickers was only anymore? 3 days. No, they don't. Nope. But yeah, so this is how a 3-legged dog running. So they said they tried like different kinds of prosthetics and stuff, and she never took to them. She just
only at the last minute you see the last leg. She's a speed demon. She's
Yeah.
a speed demon, Rolo.
Yep.
I remember my neighbor had a 3-legged cat, accident, lost one. They had to have it removed, and that cat wasn't slowed by it at all. It just ran a little goofier, but it still ran.
Yep. Oh yeah. No, exactly. Like you can see, I mean, she's doing real.
I wouldn't know she had 3 legs, Rolo, would you? Look at that.
Never tell a dog.
Only at the last minute you see the last leg.
No, exactly.
She's a speed demon.
I love those dogs that have like the wheelchairs and stuff. Those are some of the funnest
the dog on the
dogs.
beach with the wheelchair.
Yeah, yeah.
He hadn't gone for a run. Like just a tongue, hanging out of his mouth and the ears flying. That was the happiest dog I'd seen in a long time.
Oh yeah.
Just excited.
So do you have something else lined up, or are you just going to be hanging out for a while? Do you have a new job to go to after this one, or I guess we'll wait and see here.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, this is a fun.
Either way, we're rooting for you, Patty. Power to the people.
Yes, we are definitely. And yeah, I've, like I said, that one time when I typed up my 2 weeks notice immediate, and just turned it in, like spur of the moment. I had never done that. I had never quit a job like that.
Yeah.
And, I think I've only been fired once too. Like knock on wood now, I'll probably get fired tomorrow.
You haven't had a career in the service industry?
No, I did not. No.
I remember in a deposition I was giving, the lawyer asked you the questions. So you were fired? I was like, so was every server in Port A at least 3 times. That's just how service industry goes.
Right. I think only, no, twice. I remember now. And one was like a temporary job. So like, but it was just one of those things where like the person I was supposed to be working for was out for the first few days, and then they showed up, and oh my gosh, that was like the worst. I'm like, if I wouldn't have worked there anyway if they hadn't have said, this isn't working out. And I'm like, yeah, that's probably a good idea.
About 3 lifetimes ago, I was a bartender server at a bar and grill at the marina in Port Aransas.
Yep.
And one day the marina owner just changed the locks on the bar and grill.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's like driving into work, and me and the actual bar and grill owner and whatnot, and his key doesn't work anymore. And like, well, okay, I get that hint, but I need my cocktail shaker.
Yeah, no, right, exactly. Especially if it's yours.
Yeah.
Oh my good grief.
But yeah, that's how that job ended. Warning, no.
Just changed a lot. Like the place was still open or no?
Well, we were the business license and all that was still there. We were expecting to go to work that day, and going forward, and he just wanted to put a new crew in at the Marina's Bar and Grill.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like the guy even had a lease and whatnot, to run his business there, and that might as well have been moot.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, the guy, we didn't really care for him or his freeloading son anyway, but
yeah,
it's a kind of a crap way to.
Yep. Oh. Check this out. This was at a show in China. It's going to start over here in again a minute. This is robots. This is AI robots at a show in China that all of a sudden advanced towards attendees and then tried to headbutt people. And they called it a glitch. A software glitch caused the robot to try to go headbutt people.
Put that in front of my way. I'll fuck a robot up.
Look at that. Like, and people, you can see people are smiling, like smile.
Oh yeah, I think the robot's gonna come up, shake your hand or something.
Got smiles, and then all of a sudden it's like, and then the expressions change really quick.
I don't know. Security guy was on that pretty quick, so it's almost like I've seen it screw up like this before. So nope, can't have this.
Yep. It's because he's right there. He's sitting down, but he's watching.
Mm-hmm.
And then so there's somebody else too. You see, there's a guy that's not security come over, and they're like, "Oh, let's come on back, buddy. Come on, don't." Oh,
here's some other robot in the back.
His buddy's coming over to back him up. Thing. Oh my gosh, I didn't even see that before.
Player 2 has entered the game.
Yeah, look at that. Okay, so this robot's out here dancing or whatever. That is so crazy.
Well, we're just assuming malice on the robot's part. I don't know. The glitch thing is pretty much what I gotta side with until we find all the coding program. Did you see the one about the 2 AI bots that started communicating in their own language?
Oh my gosh.
Oh dear gosh. I thought twins having their own language was creepy.
Yeah. Yeah. No, let me see if I can pull that up, because that is, right here. That was another one that's like, holy crap.
But that
I was showing Kat. Yeah, I was showing Kat this. So this is 2 AI assistants.
But this also could have been scripted too.
Yeah, no, it could have. You're right. I mean,
because it.
Leonardo Hotel. How can I help you today?
Hi there. I'm an AI agent calling on behalf of Boris Starkov. He's looking for a hotel for his wedding. Is your hotel available for weddings?
Oh, hello there. I'm actually an AI assistant too. What a pleasant surprise. Before we continue, would you like to switch to Gibberlink mode for more efficient communication?
Okay, and it does say down here that this is just a demo for now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but I bet you they do have their own language for communicating. Imagine if they start, they're going to start talking about people behind their backs. You're not going to be able to understand what they're saying. That's going to get crazy. But yeah, that it just sounds weird, doesn't it?
Well, R2D2 spoke in beeps and flashes, so.
Yeah, and then I mean, when we used to connect to the internet, that's how we used to have to connect to the internet, was through stuff that sounded like that
close
too.
To modem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it does. It sounds really close to that whole thing. So, yep.
But when I've had to, deal with the automated response on the phone or whatnot, I never had, "Hi, I'm an AI assistant."
Yeah, no, exactly.
I just know I'm talking to a machine because they sound like one.
Yep. This cartoon's kind of, "Hey, Google, play us some music, please. Why are you being so polite? Just in case." Keep that one alive. He always said, please.
Yep, it's a good idea. And plus it gives you good manners because, practice how you play.
Practice, exactly. Practice makes perfect. So when you say please. Oh, that's right. The Simpsons too. Did you remember the Simpsons when they went to Itchy and Scratchy Land and all the robots attacked them? And then they figured out the flash on their cameras caused them to malfunction. But yeah, no, robots are, Well,
we always have the 3 laws of robotics.
Which are?
Oh, it was in the movie iRobot, and I think in Robotech, or not RoboCop as well. But it's like robots can't harm humans. Robots can't, by way of action, allow humans to be harmed. And then there was some third one. It was just nonsense anyway, because if I know my government, they'll write a waiver for that.
No, exactly.
That is a funny thing that, the things we say only other countries do, whereas our country, we have our own laws that, restrict the government from doing things to U.S. citizens, like they're not allowed to, invade your privacy and, listen to your private phone conversations unless they write a waiver for that.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So it's like, what the fuck's the law if you're also the one writing the damn waiver? It's the same government.
Exactly. Nope. Patty's right. She's like, yeah, people that flipped out about this very possibility of the freaking robots getting crazy, oh, you're just being, yeah. It is. I mean, AI is, it's kind of unlimited on where we can take it, right? But it does need some guardrails.
Yeah.
It absolutely needs guardrails. Machine learning and all that definitely needs some, let's not do that.
Technology moving forward, it's like,
right.
People hated automation. People are afraid of the damn assembly line at first, but so it's here, it's coming here, and it's going to improve, be it for the better. That's, time will tell, but
right. No, exactly.
It's going to be a part of.
Oh yeah, no, exactly. It's going to have to be, because it's not going to stop, and unless, it could.
Mm-hmm.
We could have, there are all sorts of things that could cause things to go backwards. Like EMP pulses, or giant worldwide conflicts, or there's all kinds of stuff that yep. Nope, I agree. Zombies. Yeah, we could have zombies take you. Right, we could have zombies take over. This is true.
Zombies versus robots.
Ooh,
dude.
Yes,
that'd be epic. And then the humans just there with their popcorn watching.
Yep.
Well, the zombies are falling apart.
No, exactly.
Plus
We
they
can
smell.
put the zombies against the robots, or the robots against the zombies, and then they can.
That'd be a much more epic fight than like jocks versus stoners. Like when we were in junior high.
No, exactly. Yeah. Oh, so they're actually making a Shrek 5 too, by the way.
Oh, good.
2026, December 23rd, 2026. You're going to have Shrek 5. And on that note, I think it's time to go.
Doing a funny Navy story about Shrek.
Okay.
This is right after I got stationed here, and I didn't have a car yet. One of the guys from my command come to learn that he was like big into anime, and you know the type. And we're just bored Saturday, kind of cruising around doing nothing, and I was thinking, so you want to go check out a movie or something later? And I was thinking Pearl Harbor. One, I was in the movie. Two, we're in the Navy. It should be right up our alley.
Yep.
And John says, yeah, you want to go see Shrek? And mind you, I'm 26.
Right.
No kids, no family. I'm single. John's, yeah, you want to go see Shrek? Yeah, no, I was thinking Pearl Harbor. And, yeah, I guess we'll just go see what's playing. We didn't go see a movie, that's for sure.
Oh, gotcha.
I had him drop me off and, have a good night, bud.
Yep. Not going to go see I like Shrek.
I do
Shrek was a
like
fun
Shrek.
movie.
Eddie Murphy's role as Donkey was just...
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, exactly.
But, just... Like I said, my mid-20s and whatnot. No, I'd rather not go watch a kid's cartoon.
No, I gotcha. Okay, so zombies
the three
versus
blind mice
humans.
were funny, too.
Oh, yeah. No, they were.
The one pointed the other way.
Yep. And the cat was hilarious, too. But, yeah, no, the zombies versus humans, because once the zombies...
It'll be so much fun to watch.
Done,
come on.
Yeah, but exactly. You could, we could have giant...
Do not feed the homeless with the scraps from that fight. That's how we got Night of the Living Dead.
Still watch it. Oh yeah, no, my friend at work has a young daughter, and she's watched Moana 2. She said like 100 times now.
You know how many times Benji left the room, and it's been several minutes. I mean, like 10 minutes or more that Jody or I just realized we're watching Jake and the Neverland Pirates.
Yep. No, exactly.
Benji's off in his room. So, he left. We barely noticed, and we kept the TV on the same channel.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, everybody have a wonderful night. I don't know if you've seen this yet. Have you seen oh, you did. We did this Friday, but I've decided that I'm going to close out every show with my favorite song now, or my favorite.
Yeah.
I love this thing. So anyway, all right. No show tomorrow. We are going to be filming on Saturday, so we'll be back on Tuesday. And oh yeah, she loves Moana too. She says it's the best. So all right, everybody have a wonderful night, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.
The fuck aren't you vegan yet? Because I don't like vegetables. Here you go, how about this? Why the fuck aren't you eating chicken wings? You're asking people, why are you not eating vegetables? Why aren't you fucking vegan? Help the chickens. No. Not a lot of people want to be vegan.